Hello class. What we're going to look at in this video is how to set a scene, which is just a view or a position of your camera in Sketchup. It's pretty easy. You probably already know how to do it, but if you don't, here it is. And really this video is just a reminder that please, before you export your image for Photoshop, which is what we're sort of doing in this series of videos, save the scene. And this is important for a lot of reasons. First of all, we're going to be following up with this drawing where you actually need to go back and change things like a week or a couple weeks down the road. If you don't have the scene saved, you're going to have to start over. You're going to be further behind. So that's a big reason for doing it. And two, in the real world, it happens all the time. Like, you have to go make changes. So if the client doesn't like this window, go and change it, or doesn't like this color, go and change it. Well, if you have the scene saved, it's going to save your Photoshop work a ton of time, make it much easier for yourself. So please use scenes. The other thing I want to mention really is when you're choosing your scene, for this assignment, make sure it's at eye level, which I'll show you how to do if you don't know how to do. And two, pick a good scene. Make sure it says something about the architecture. Make sure it's telling the story. I'm going to have you say what you think is important about this architecture, and I want you to support a scene or support a view that supports that fact, so that when you are explaining this project down near the end of the semester, you will be able to point to this perspective and say, this is what I'm trying to say about the architecture. All right? So it could be about the color, it could be about the deck, it could be about the brick, the use of materials, it could be about the overall form, it could be anything, but pick something and pick the view that matches it, that supports it. So let's hypothetically say that I'm going to say I like the porch. So clearly if I like the porch, I'm probably not going to do a view like this, right? I'm going to do a view that's more this way. That only makes sense. Now I've got these things in the background, which is fine. We talked about that when I did interior modeling. I can always cut those out in Photoshop, so I'm not too worried about that. But what I want to do is find a nice sort of corner. It's always often good to be a perspective on the corner to see two faces, because it sort of reminds us that that's how we really view architecture. But the thing I really want to do is I want to sort of pull back a little bit, and I'm going to go to camera, and I'm going to go to position camera. I'm going to step right on the grass. That's going to set my eye level to 5.6, which is going to make this an eye level perspective, which is what we're going to want to do for this class. Once I do that, it's changed to this little eyeball, and so I can pan around and look around. And generally, I want to look straight ahead, and I'm right on this corner. You don't have to be, but I'm going to say, that's a pretty good view because I get the chimney, but it's off to the side. And then if you want to adjust it a little bit, like right now, arguably, I really only care about the building. I want to get the building in screen as much as possible. So I'm going to go to camera, and I'm going to go to walk, because that'll keep me at this 5.6 level. If not, I can always adjust it later on. But you can see as I hold on my mouse and push up, I'm going to get closer to the building. And I can go left and right. In fact, I might go left just a little bit. And I'm going to look around again to get the eye. What I'm going to try to do also is I want to try to get a little gap in here between the chimney to really express the deck a little bit. So I might even go, if I pan a little bit, so you can see I'm getting this gap, what's going to happen is my eye level's not necessarily, I got pretty close, but it says approximately 5.6. So I can always type in 5'6" again to reset it exactly at 5.6. And again, now I might want to pan this to be more sort of centralized. So I might just pan it slightly this way, rotate it this way. I'm getting pretty close. We can see now I'm a bit off of 5.6. So as long as I'm on the eyeball, which is looking around, I can always type in 5'6" and readjust it to eye level. Now I've got this pretty well filled the screen. I've got this double shot. I see everything I want to see. I'm happy with it. Again, take your time. I could probably spend a lot more time getting this perspective right. I just don't want to take forever in this video. So I'm going to say this is a good perspective for me. And I'm going to go over to scenes, which should be in your tray over here. If not, go to Windows default tray and click on scene. And to add a scene, I gotta find scene. I'm just going to hit the add button and say create scene, and that'll be good for now. And there you go. And save your work. Of course, save your work because you want to save the scene. Again, I can't say how important it is to get the scene saved for future use. So with that, I'll pause that. In the next video, we'll continue to look at some things to get this ready for Photoshop.